make it pivot when it engages. This is just a bigger version. This is the tiniest version. Yeah, power comes in here, and then it goes to that contact plate, and then from the contact plate it goes down into here, and then from there it goes down to the commutator.
The commutator.
Which is this.
Is it called the commutator on here?
I don't think they call it. They just show where the brush spring and the round brush end plate. But that's what this is the commutator, and these are the brushes that sit on the armature to make it spin. Magnetizes it, and then the field windings are in here, and
They're what they're called pole shoes, but they're also called field windings?
Well, the pole shoes are what supports the field coils. The field coils wrap around the pole shoes. You can see, you can look down in there and see.
Okay.
The pole shoes are like, they look like this, and then the wires wrap around it.
Okay.
The wires wrap around the pole shoes, which sit right there. Those two screws hold the pole shoes. So then the wires wrap around it. And then you're going to have a positive and a negative, positive and negative on the field windings. So it's going to make north, south, or positive, negative. And then when the brushes send positive and negative to the armature, it becomes magnetized. And the negative, or the north and south poles, the two opposing and attracting magnets, are going to make it spin. Ring ding 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 ding. So then it spins. So then it's going to spin and spin and spin, but it's not going to engage in the flywheel without kicking out. So that's where the plunger pulls the shift lever and the pivot pin, which makes the Bendix kick out.
What activates the plunger?
The plunger is the S terminal. It magnetizes the pull-in windings, creates a magnetic field, and it pulls the plunger back.
So the S
solenoid windings cause the plunger to pull backwards. So you got the pull-in windings and you got the hold-in windings. So the pull-in windings are going to grab the plunger and pull it back.
Were you recording this, Elena?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are? Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, why are you grounding that?
Because it's got to have ground. It just grounds through the body.
That's right.
It grounds through the body.
That one?
Yeah. So when you magnetize the windings, the plunger, so that's literally doing this. Yeah. So the starter gets ground just through the bolts of the engine block. So that's the solenoid. But you still need the power on the motor feed, because without the motor feed having power, it's not going to spin. So that's why you need
a separate piece for that?
Nope. Well, you'd have your big thick cable, which would go to the B positive, but that's not going to do anything. So the plunger is kicking back, and on the back of the plungers there's that contact plate, and the contact plate touches the motor feed terminal and connects it to the bypass ignition terminal. Sends power down into here, down to the commutator or the field windings, either or. Yeah.
Is this connected?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
So that's solenoid operates the plunger, and the contact plate connects power from here to the actual starter motor.
Okay.
Yeah, right underneath here, the contact plate shorts out the contacts from here to the B positive terminal.
It shorts out just turn it on into connecting?
Yeah. Shorts power to power. Connects. Without that, it's not going to spin. And without the solenoid, I don't know if I'll be able to get it to reach. It spins, but it doesn't kick out.
So basically, these two, right?
So you got to have both. That's just powering the motor. That's doing what the contact plate's doing. But the Bendix isn't kicking out.
Is there a maximum time you want to run it?
You don't want to run it too much. Yeah. With a load, you don't want to crank it for more than 15 seconds.
What about without load?
They're not designed to be running constantly, but you know, this is just a test part, so just demonstrating. So the solenoid will kick, but the motor won't spin without enough power on the large battery cable, the big thick cable. Big thick cable is what powers the motor. So you could have enough power and a good connection on the solenoid, and it'll click, but it won't spin. And if the solenoid's bad, if the windings in the solenoid are bad, it might spin, but it may not engage the flywheel. You need both parts working together to do that. And then you've got the overrun clutch, which is this part here, which lets you spin it one way, but not spin the other way. The overrun clutch is there, so when the engine actually starts, if it starts spinning faster than the starter, it'll allow it to free spin in the opposite direction. If it wasn't, like that's solid right there. The motor makes it spin this way. The engine, if it tries to go the opposite direction without the overrun clutch, the starter would blow up. So that's why the overrun clutch is there, to allow it to free spin in one direction and drive in the other direction.
Why would it spin the other direction while being operated?
It shouldn't, but when the motor starts spinning faster than the starter, if somebody's still holding the key in, the overrun clutch needs to be there so it can freewheel and not explode.
Okay, I got you.
So the starter should be driving the engine, but once the engine gets running, it's going to spin faster. And if somebody doesn't let go of the key, it needs to be able to freewheel. The overrun clutch needs to be able to work so it doesn't explode.
Did you catch all that?